Welcome back to Build. I'm your host, Brittany Jones-Cooper. The new film Egg takes a look at why women choose motherhood, why they revere it, fear it, and why some women choose to forgo it altogether. The movie follows two couples who choose very different paths to parenthood, and the conflict that follows is both hilarious and thought-provoking. Today, I'm sitting down with stars Alysia Reiner and Christina Hendricks, but first, here's the trailer for Egg.
Pregnant women smell so wonderful.
Okay. Look at you, you're huge. I'm actually doing a piece on motherhood.
Really?
Did you know amniotic fluid is actually urine?
Let's open that wine.
We're having a baby too, yay!
How far along are you?
I'm not actually pregnant. We have a surrogate.
I'm Kiki. I'm Wayne and Tina's baby surrogate mom.
Did you screw the surrogate?
Whoa!
I think Don is boning someone else.
Okay, suppose he is. Do you care?
Of course I care.
There are 5 phases of a woman's life. I am in phase 4. You have to be a mother.
If government and businesses are gonna devalue women's work and make motherhood economically unfeasible, why not outsource it?
You see, this is why people hate liberals.
Huh.
I made fresh orange juice for Karen, folic acid. Tina is like a sperm donor.
I'm donut like a sperm donor?
Oh my God, I feel so fat.
Wow.
Everyone give it up for Alysia Reiner and Christina Hendricks. How you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm excited to talk about this because when I first saw the ad and the trailer for Egg, I sort of assumed I knew what it was about. I thought it was going to be some fertility story, something maybe I've heard before. And as soon as I started watching, you immediately realize, oh, we're going down sort of uncharted path here. So Alysia, I'll start with you. Can you kind of take us through the story and how you got your hands on this script?
Sure. So I first did a reading of it, like a workshop of it, over 10 years ago. And similar to what you just said, it was like, oh, we're going there. And I think that's why I'm an artist, is to go there, like to really bring up these things that other people are afraid to talk about, and also to have conversations that are impactful and that make us think and grow. So that's why I fell in love with it. And then I lost track of it for a while, and I met the writer on a ferry boat from Kismet, Fire Island. It was Kismet. And she had just done a rewrite, and she asked me to read it again, and we read it, and we said, oh my God, we have to do this. And then I met Christina, and she seemed like the most amazing, perfect person to do it with.
And I love that you guys met at the Women's March, is that right? Which I feel like is so fitting, given the themes of patriarchy and feminism that are just strewn throughout this. So for you, what was appealing about this script when you first kind of got to read through it?
I think it's a conversation that people want to have, and many thoughts that we have had, but we've never put them together and spoken them out loud. And I've had so many women go, I just want to sit down in a room with my friends and have this conversation. And I liked that it's about motherhood, but I also just loved that it was about sort of the way we judge other people and how we put our own ideas on someone else, and that we're scared of something that's not our own, and that we judge other people, how they raise their own children, all these interesting different layers and things about relationships and friendships. And it's just a real character-driven piece, which of course actors love, because we just love to sit there and really dive into the dialogue, which is fun.
And I would love each of you to tell us about your character, because I'm trying to avoid any major spoilers, so I would rather you guys kind of do it. So can you tell us about Tina?
Tina is a conceptual artist in the world of Barbara Kruger or Deborah Cass. I think she'd want to be in the Guerrilla Girls. And she is one of those people who says things other people are afraid to say. She's unapologetic in her expressions. And these two are old and dear, dear friends from art school, but haven't seen each other in a very long time.
And tell us about Karen.
Karen is 8 months pregnant in this story. She's a stay-at-home mom. She's about to be a stay-at-home mom. And I think she's sort of had her light dimmed a little bit by the marriage that she's in. She doesn't get to do her art anymore. She looks at Tina with a lot of admiration and awe at the strength that she has. And that Tina can be quite provocative, and I think she admires her a lot. So these women seem like very, very different people that you wouldn't expect to be friends, but they've got this long, long history together. And they sort of have become different people than they probably were when they were friends in school.
And for me, that was the most relatable thing because I see, I don't have children, and I have several friends who have made the decision to have children, and our paths seem wider than ever because of the child part. And so it's interesting to see that dynamic explored because both of these women feel confident in their lives more or less, but they couldn't be more different. And it's like, can you still maintain a friendship when you've chosen these kind of opposite lives?
It's funny. Before I became a mother, there was one friend who had kids much earlier than any of my other friends, and she had this experience of me of like, you don't understand my life now, and I wanted to understand her life, but I felt like I wasn't welcomed in, and I think it's really challenging for friends to navigate that of like, wow, you've made a different choice and I don't know what your life looks like now. And I think that's one of the things I loved about the script is that these women are looking to understand each other. They're trying. It's tricky, but they're trying. And that's what I hope we all do on this planet is look to understand as opposed to look to judge,
Yeah, and it gets confrontational.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that you can kind of maybe sometimes only do with a friend that you've had that long, where you go, I don't really know where you're coming from, and that kind of freaks me out, and I don't like how it's making me feel. But at least they're having that conversation,
Yeah, but you can't understand unless you ask the hard questions sometimes.
Which is why I feel like a lot of my friends who do have children, there's this judgment that comes with being a mother that comes from all different women, and everything from the way you parent to how you dress, like everything is criticized, and there's not one right way to do it, but people seem to think there is. So I love that this sort of explored that in a really honest way. Is that something you're hoping people can take away from it? Is that
Absolutely. I think that's the big dream. It always is how do we talk about these things so that we do stop judging each other, be it around the choice to be a parent or not, or how you parent if you decide to parent. I think one of the other things the movie really brings up is the role structure, the traditional role structure in families, and what we expect of a mother and what we expect of a father, and how do we navigate that and change that, which I think we have to do if we really want women working and being parents in the way that we want. Yeah.
And to be, a modern, educated woman and still find yourself slipping into these expected roles when you surprise yourself for even falling into it. You think, I shouldn't want this, or I should, and it allows these women to want all of these things and be confused.
It is very confusing, and it's hard, and you read all of these stats about more women are delaying motherhood or choosing not to have children altogether, and I don't feel like that topic has really been explored that much through our art, like the choice a woman has in not becoming a mother.
Nobody talks about it.
Nobody talks about it.
And it shocks me because it's just something we should talk about more, because it is a choice, like anything else.
It's also something that in our society we're seeing more and more but it remains weirdly hidden and stigmatized, and I think a lot of women are meant to feel guilty about it.
It seems to be a label. You're either a mother or you're not, and it seems to people want to make that a definition of your character, when it really has nothing to do with that.
There's something I loved about the film. They talk about the different phases of womanhood, and sort of once you meet these phases, if you're not hitting all the boxes, you sort of aren't important or seen anymore, which rang really, I think, true. Even though it was like kind of jokey, but it was like,
Yeah.
it was true.
Anna Camp comes in, and obviously she's deliciously sexy and wearing these tiny shorts, and our characters are like, oh, God, boy. And the men are, of course, super excited that she's entered the room. And she goes through this list of sort of her idea of the phases of a woman's life, and they start out sort of rolling their eyes and, look at this young thing, and then we're like, oh, a lot of what she's saying really touches a nerve. We're like, ooh, that hurt.
Let's talk about sort of the staging. It felt like a play so often to me. It is even broken up into acts, but a lot of it takes place in a living room. So what was that like playing in that space? How did you build tension? How did you navigate different scenes, creating emotion? Because it actually like sucked me in a weird way because it felt like a safe space almost.
Our director was really creative with using that space, whether it was moving us from the couch over to a chaise in the corner so that you feeling the characters sort of moving and almost like a dance through, and then we move back into the bedroom, and so we tried to use the space, which is really kind of like an artist studio. So as you're moving around that too, you're seeing all the beautiful art in the background and all these interesting things. But it was really a testament to her to make it not seem like you're just sitting there watching. It really still felt very, very fluid, and that's just Mariana Polka, our director.
We actually have the one scene in the art gallery was not planned as such. It's a 9-page scene, and we showed up that day, and we had a piece of equipment just for that one day, which is like a steady camera, what's called a Mobi, which means that someone can follow us through that whole scene. And Mariana's like, right, so we're gonna shoot it all as a oneer, which means one take for 9 pages, like one camera, one take for 9 pages. And then we were like, what?
But we did it.
But we did it.
Yeah, it
we
was
did it.
fun.
And it was like, at the end, we were like, yes, we could do anything.
That is so impressive because I was watching that scene and there's a part where you're drawing, and in my head I was like, I wonder if she ever messed that up. But you did it in one take.
I don't think you ever messed it up. I don't think we ever
There's no
missed
messing
a line.
up. Yeah, we didn't miss.
We were
Gina,
so
that's
scared to
insane.
have to stop that we were like,
yeah, we were like, oh my God, there's 9 pages, we can't stop.
You mentioned Mariana Polk, who's the director. What do you think were the benefits of having a female director who really seemed to be connected to the material and in the story and to the characters?
Wow. So Mariana Polka has pretty much only done stuff that she has written. Her first film, Good Dick, and then her second, Bitch. And some people are like, this is a perfect trilogy. And I think it was our other producer, Michelle Gainless, who was president of Comedy Central, and I and David all felt that it was really important that we have a mandate that we hire all women. And that we not be afraid of the feminine gaze, and that it wouldn't be too girly if we had a female DP and a female director. And for me, what's proven to be so true is that men love this movie, and that in fact it didn't at all limit anything. If anything, it just opened it up more. She created an incredibly warm, womb-like space, and I loved working with her.
yeah, I don't think it matters if she was male or female in this regard, but I think what she did was she never judged the characters. She never took the side of one character. She was able to really see the magic in each person. So it helps the storytelling because you're watching and you don't know, you can understand why that person fell in love with that person for a minute, and then you could be really mad at them a moment later, and then you could really think Tina's right, and then because she didn't ever show it from one point of view.
That's a testament to the writing as well, because Tina would go off on something and I'm like, yeah, and then she would maybe go a little too far and I'm like, what's Karen got to say about that? Like, maybe we need to like balance this out a little bit.
Let's back it up just a little
we went
bit.
like a little far, which brings in the men, because the men are as different as the women. David Allen Bash is your husband, but he plays her husband. I want to talk about your dynamic though, because it's very tense, your dynamic with his character. How fun was that?
It was so much
play?
fun. We were actually just looking at like the bloopers reel, and there's this one part where I'm like, women like me have always scared men like you, and I couldn't say it when we were doing it. I kept on messing up. I'd be like, women like me, like. So it was super fun playing with him and playing these like at each other, and I kind of love that. The two people in the film who go at it the most are a man and a woman, not a woman and a woman, which is what you might expect.
Even though your two characters are so different, you can still see that mutual respect and love, and you understand why they became friends in the first place, which I think was really important to tell that part of the story. Before we go to the audience, I do want to know the art in the film is really cool. It's very provocative. So can you tell me a little bit just about how they gathered together that body of work?
Sure. We really reached out to a lot of our friends. Our set designer, Sally Levy, is in fact a conceptual artist herself. So in the loft, it's mostly almost exclusively female artists, some local artists. We shot in New Rochelle, so we used some local artists. Some of our friends, like one of my friends from Hawaii had her pieces in it. Some incredible contemporary artists. And then in the studio scene, a lot of that was written in. So like the rocking chairs with dynamite was written into the script. And Sally created what Risa Mickenberger, our writer, created. But then some of it we all created together. So when we went to the bank building, so it was we used an abandoned bank building as our set, and we built the set into it. There was this structure. And we saw this structure and we're like, let's make a piece of art out of it. And then Mariana saw this quote on Instagram that said, I'm pregnant, and then with not crossed out. And she asked the creator of it on Instagram, like, can we use this? We put that in. And then an incredible actual contemporary conceptual artist named Clarina Brazol has some pieces in the studio and then also in the apartment, and then that's who created that last piece of art.
I could tell that it was that robust because it's in every scene, and you feel, and it's almost another character in the film very much. I've never seen a sketch have so much power either as the quick sketches do in this film. We'll leave that little egg for you guys when you watch it. Let's go to the audience really quick for some questions. Oh, actually, it's just a Twitter question. Kung Fu Ra wants to know, hi, Christina Hendricks. I love your TV show, Mad Men. Who is your favorite co-star on the show?
Oh my gosh, that's hard. I mean, I'm gonna have to say John Slattery because I got to do such beautiful, beautiful scenes with him. And he's a dear, dear friend and a tremendous actor, and he taught me a lot about acting by being able to work with him. So, John Slattery today. It might change tomorrow, but he usually top of the list.
I just watched him in The Romanoffs, and he was amazing.
He was wonderful in it.
You both were.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Christina, how uncomfortable was that prosthetic baby bump?
It was so comfortable.
Was it?
I loved it. I was like, can I take this with me? It felt very protective. Like it felt like a little cozy. I found myself like holding it. We would take lunch breaks, and I'm like, that's all right, I'll leave it on. Like it was kind of warm and weighted. I feel like we were saying it was probably like one of those.
I want a weighted blanket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was like, or just like a fake pregnancy suit. Yeah. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I was not expecting that response.
I
thought
know.
It would be hot and uncomfortable.
I miss it.
Did they let you keep it?
Can you imagine how weird would that be?
It's so
That would be really weird.
That would be really weird.
Well, like I said, this movie really reflected a lot of the conversations I'm having with friends and that I see going on. So I hope people take the time to check it out because the conversations that follow this at dinner afterwards are going to be, I think, really thought-provoking and really fun.
One of the things people have said to me is it sticks with you. Yeah. Like you keep on thinking about it for a long time afterwards, which I think is what we want to do. That's the goal.
And it expanded my idea of what it means.
What's
to
possible.
bring a child into the world and different ways to do it. So thank you for you guys both being in this film. If you guys want to check it out, Egg is in theaters now. Give it up for Alysia Reiner.
Actually, and it's on iTunes and Amazon. You can watch it right now.
Right now. Give it up for Alysia Reiner and
Thank
Christina
you.
Hendricks.
Thanks, guys.